When teaching children language, children have the capacity to develop a rich vocabulary. And in order for them to do this, they just have to hear it from the people around them, their parents, their family, teachers, those who work with them. And so in this video, I just wanted to talk about the importance that you, as an educator or a parent or someone who works with children, that you can use with children these complex, sophisticated, and rare words so that children can benefit from hearing them and hearing them being applied. Molly Collins wrote an article called "The Importance of Discussing 50-Cent Words with Preschoolers." And in this article, she talks about how developing a rich vocabulary will help to develop a strong foundation for reading. And there's a quote from this article that I wanted to share, that she said, "Preschoolers who hear rich explanations of sophisticated words learn significantly more words than children who do not." And so it is important for us to be able to just use these words and not be afraid to think, well, they don't have language skills to develop it yet, or children, they're just very simple at this age. I would love to just show you an example or tell you an example as a preschool teacher when I started out, that I learned very quick that they definitely can learn more words than we expect. So I had one little girl in my class. She was early threes. And I remember she came to school and then she was telling me about what her mom does. And she told me, you know, my mom, she works with deoxyribonucleic acid. And I kind of paused for a moment because I thought, wait, she's 3. And I remember looking at her going, what? And she said, my mom works with deoxyribonucleic acid. And I looked at her and I said, oh, she works with DNA. And she was quick to correct me and she said, well, some people shorten it to DNA, but I like to say deoxyribonucleic acid. And so it was then that I did realize, and because I saw it from her, that she was able to say that, no problem. And it was fun for her to say. And she said it pretty much that whole day, telling her friends and who were completely confused. But then from then on, I realized, you know, we don't have to use simple words around children, because she probably heard that around her parents and they probably talked about their research and what they're doing that involved deoxyribonucleic acid, and she just picked it up and she would share with me what her parents did in terms of research and what their work entailed. And I thought, am I talking to a 3-year-old? But it did show me that she had a capacity, as with most children, that they can have the capacity to learn these words. So sometimes I just throw in a few more complex words or words that we don't use as often, such as content for happy. I would just say, you know, I'm feeling really content today. And then I'll say, do you know what content means? And often the children will say, no. And so I'll just explain it means the same as happy. Or maybe I'll encourage them on the playground when they can't ride their bike and they're just saying, oh, this is so hard, I just don't want to do it anymore, or I just want to, this playing soccer is hard. And I'll just say, you need to persevere. And then I'll say, do you know what persevere means? And again, they may say, no, I don't. And then I'll just explain, persevere means not giving up, to keep on going even when it's hard, and then so that one day you'll get really good at it. So do you want to persevere? And they'll say, okay. And then so they'll continue. And then later I'll just say, hey, good job for persevering and just sticking with it. And you're getting really good at kicking that soccer ball now. So those are words that we can introduce to children and then use it around them so then they can hear it and they'll understand its meaning in its context. So there is a really fun book. It's called Bigger Words for Little Geniuses by Susan and James Patterson. And this book has a lot of rare vocabulary words, many of which I didn't even know until I picked this book up. But this is a fun book. It teaches children some really challenging words that I don't even know. There's some that I just hadn't heard of until I picked up this book. And I thought, wow, it's a good vocabulary book, even for myself. So one of them, I'm just going to share a couple words, but one is bioluminescence. I like this word. This word I actually heard about. And it talks about, bioluminescent describes creatures where their bodies are that they can light up in the dark, like fireflies. So fireflies are bioluminescent because they light up in the dark. Another word, at the end, there's a list of vocabulary words that lists more fun words to say. And the word is Nicktanthas. Do you know what a Nicktantha is? I didn't. But if I tell you that a moonflower or queen of the night is a Nicktantha, does that give you a little bit more of a clue? And so I know that maybe children haven't heard of these flowers, and I can say, well, Nicktanthas are flowers that bloom in the night, and show them pictures of pretty flowers that bloom in the night. And so these words just add vocabulary to a child's language. And quite frankly, sometimes they are really fun to say. So don't be afraid to use these big words around children. They learn fast. They are little sponges when they're young. And you can definitely share these words to enrich their vocabulary.